allowing daw po. Okay na po? Naririnig nyo na?
Sige po, pakiproceed po.
Yes, press B. Go ahead.
Okay po. Okay, let's bow down our heads and proceed with our prayers. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that we are all gathered here. We kindly ask your intervention to bless this PPO webinar, that we all be able to learn and make use of it in our professional and daily lives. We pray that you bless also this platform that we are using, that no interruptions or technical difficulties may happen. Bless also the facilitators and organizers of this event, and likewise the speaker for this morning. Please bless him with all the knowledge and wisdom that is needed in order to be able to share effectively the topic that he is about to give this morning. Likewise, bless all the attendees that are here. Make us all awake in the entire webinar, body and mind, so that we will be able to grasp every bit of knowledge from it. We surely know that this will be a success with you as our guide. This we all pray with praises and thanksgiving in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. May we call our brother from to lead our Muslim prayer, Mr. Hamdani Pairotan Hussein. Kindly unmute your
وقال ربكم ادعوني استجب لكم امين يا رب العالمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين اياك نعبد واياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين انعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين امين. اللهم اغفر لي وارحمني اللهم اغفر لي وارحمني اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر ومن عذاب جهنم فتنة المحيا والممات ومن شر فتنة المسيح الدجال. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم علما نافعا اللهم علما نافعا وارزقنا فهما واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار وقنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hamdani. Okay. Before we proceed for the opening remarks, okay. Actually, this is hello. Okay, to proceed with the opening remarks, may I call the PICMA President, Press RCB Fernando.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I think before I will start, maybe I request not use the view, speaker's view, para mas mabilis niyo pong makita yung mga nagsasalita. Good morning again to all of you, to all of us. I think we have some in Philippines also. So good afternoon sa ating mga kasamahan sa Philippines. We are very thankful sa time na binigay niyo sa amin sa araw na to, sa umagang ito. Today we will be learning about the rooftop electricity solar home system for OFW who wants to own a home solar power system. I think this is a good topic, especially we are now in a global warming. Kailangan natin yung mga renewable energy, especially sa mga bahay natin, where we can save money due to cost efficiency ng mga solar panel ngayon. Also, I think this will be a good opportunity, lalo na dun sa mga merong limitation sa access sa electricity. I think this will be a big help to learn how we can access itong mga solar panel na i-discuss sa atin today. And of course, we're very glad and thankful dun sa bibigay na time sa atin ng ating speaker this morning. I hope you will learn a lot. And again, good morning and enjoy the rest of the webinar. This is our ninth PPO-SA webinar, and we will have again soon this month. So again, thank you and good morning. Enjoy the rest of the webinar.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome, Press RC. We know that we have already a constant and free power resource available to us. This is the sun, actually. And a huge nuclear reactor creating an approximately 17,000 times more than the energy than the combination of global population. It is where we are using the money that we save in the power bill. Obviously, it is not now, but immediately and easily. So it is the combination of financial benefit to us, together with the contribution to a cleaner and healthier planet that we are actually real long-term benefits of solar. So to give us the to introduce us the speaker for today, may I call the Vice President for Technical Affairs from IIERCSA, Engineer Carlos C. Tamayo Jr.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Our presenter for today is a well-experienced resource speaker and a community leader. He will be presenting the title Home Solar PV Photovoltaic System, quote unquote, the rooftop electricity. He is, uh, he is an electrical engineer by profession.
Kindly share the screen.
He works in a Hassan Abdul Karim Al Gatani and Sons company, which is the HAPCA. His work location in Daharan, Saudi Aramco, Eastern Region province of Saudi Arabia. He has already 11 years in Saudi Arabia plus 19 years in the Philippines. His good background is from Osamis City, Misamis Occidental. He go for school in Misamis University and got his degree as a BS Electrical Engineering in 1987. He has an affiliation as a registered electrical engineer for PRC. For PTC, he is an ASEAN engineer. For the Saudi Council of Engineers, he is a registered engineer by degree. For the APEC, he is an APEC engineer. He is a senior member of the IIERCSA chapter, an honorary member of the PSME Saudi Arabia chapter. He is also a distinguished Toastmaster, awardee of the Toastmasters International Club. With his experience and qualifications, he has 15 years of hands-on experience in the field of projects and facility management. He has also 15 years as a planning and technical support engineer. Completed projects such as substations, power plants, distribution lines, power transformers, and he is skilled in testing, commissioning, and startup of electrical systems for buildings, manufacturing, and industrial plants. In 2005, successfully managed and handed over the first commercially operated wind diesel hybrid system in the island of Batanes, Philippines. Currently, he is one of the project representatives in a 350 million US dollar laboratory facility projects of Aramco. Our resource speaker and community leader that promotes renewable energy and shares professional knowledge for the benefit of fellow practitioners and the community. A general manager of the alternative renewable energy business owned by Filipino overseas workers. Fellow practitioners, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Engineer Kenneth S. Alantaga. Take it away, Engineer.
Okay. By the way, sorry, before our technical speaker will start, my co-host for today is Engineer Randy Iredilla, our Assistant Treasurer from IIERCSA. And after this presentation, we will be having our question and answer portions. Okay, you can write down your all questions from our chat group. Then me and my co-host Engineer Randy will collect all these questions. Okay. Otherwise, we can request also our technical speaker to answer directly your questions. Thank you very much. Please proceed, Engineer Kenneth.
Good morning. Engineer Richard, can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes. Please proceed, Engineer Kenneth. We can hear you right now. Please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you, Engineer Kaloy, for that introduction. It's my honor to be here with this prestigious organization. Today is our 9th Philippine Professional Organization webinar, and sponsored by my mother organization, the Institute of Integrated Electrical Engineers in the Eastern Region Chapter of Saudi Arabia, the organization of the power engineers, proud to say. Solar home system, or the so-called rooftop electricity. Back in the Philippines, we have a lot of brilliant minds. They have another version of the solar rooftop electricity. What they're doing, at nighttime, they climb to the rooftops with their cables, they tap to their neighbors or to the nearby electrical post. That is not rooftop electricity that we're talking about. That is stealing electricity. What we are talking about here is utilizing the space, the roof space at the back, at the top, and then use it to harvest the free energy from the sun and convert to electrical energy. Make sure that we have the same thinking about this, not stealing electricity. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this presentation. First, I would like to acknowledge here the guests, those who were invited, and without your support, this webinar could never be successful. The 12-member organizations who are very supportive, and of course, our organizers, our leaders, led by our President RC, and the Engineer Clint, and of course, our President from the IIEE. This is yours truly presenting today. Few months ago, I think I have already a lot of speaking engagement talking about solar. So I think that this is already obsolete topic, and maybe why I should be delivering this again. But few months ago, also back in the Philippines, we have a lot of problem with regards to our electricity bills. A lot were sent to the hospital when they saw their electric bills very high. So let us agree first what you will learn today. My purpose, I think, on this presentation with some of my knowledge is only one thing. That's why we have only one objective. That is to convince you to go solar, to benefit of the approved or proven technology, reduce your electric, or if not, eliminate your electric bills. That's my only purpose for today, to convince you to go solar and help our environment. Let us protect our environment. How would I do that? Well, paano mo siya liligawan kung hindi mo siya kilala? Paano mo siya maging mahal? So I have to introduce to you what is solar home system, how it works, where it comes from, what is the cost and benefits, and etc. And if you love already solar, then maybe we'll start planning our marriage and our son will be happy. Once again, welcome to this presentation. To understand, we cannot escape from the technical things. Don't worry, I will be trying to explain all those technical things and avoid the deep explanation. And I don't want either to discuss technical here, because what we want to know is a simple application, and then how would you benefit it. But of course, we need to understand what is solar PV cell, how it works, what is really the potential energy from the sun. I'm not talking about the big energy from the sun. I'm just talking about the area in your rooftop that could be harvesting this energy, how much energy you can have it. And then the system that would fit your house. Then it's important to know also your load and the generation. Later on, we will elaborate on this one. Maybe you want to know how to size your system. What is the right solar system for my house? And then for the people, the accountants that are here, you want to know, fulus, how much and when will my money comes back, the benefits and ROI. So I guess these topics are quite enough for you to understand what is solar system. Let us start with the very simple one, the generator, the small generator. Where it comes from? Saan ba nanggagaling itong solar panel natin? Very abundant source, sun, silica sun with manufacturing technology. They get the crystalline and purified it 100% monocrystalline, and then chop it, wafers, and we have now the solar cell. These stripes here are the ribbon bus bars that are used to collect the electrons. That's why it's magic, from sun to a small generator, solar cell. We have here two common types of cell, the pulley and the mono. From the word itself, pulley is made of fragments of silicon. That's why you can see evidence of spots in its surface. The other one is mono, it's pure silicon. So what's the difference? Its composition. The other one is composed of fragments, and the other one is pure. When it comes to cost, of course, the pure one is higher in cost. When it comes to efficiency, the same. But because of this technology that we have today, this big gap before, 10 years ago, there's a big gap on the cost and efficiency, but now it's almost the same because of the technology. We call this a small DC generator. How much voltage it produces? 0.5 to 0.6. This is 1.5 volts. This panel, this cell that we're talking about, can produce 0.5 to 0.6 volts. The size, 6 inches, like this. 6 inches by 6 inches, and the thick, just like the cardboard. That is your solar cell. The construction or the assembly, before the assembly, let us go down deep into the atomic level. I hope you want to follow me to the atomic level of this solar cell. How it works? Paano ba nangyari yun? Bakit siya nakapag-produce ng electricity? So I have something for you. But here, if you can notice, we have layers. The silicon and N-type, this is manufactured to produce an N-type, which is more on the electrons, on the particles of electrons, while the other type is P-type, which has more positive. With these extra electrons, just a force from the sunlight will knock out electrons from its hole and will transfer. That's the only thing that is happening actually inside the silicon. Electrons knocked out from sunlight, causing it to flow. With your load, the bulb, then you have a current flow and a power supply. Let us go to a video that I prepared. Thank you for Mr. YouTube.
At the heart of conventional solar cells are two special semiconductor layers. One is called an N-type layer and the other a P-type layer. In the N-type layer, the atomic arrangement results in a surplus of electrons, which can therefore move around relatively freely. In the p-type layer, it's the opposite. The atomic arrangement is missing electrons in certain places. Where one is missing, we say there's a hole. Where there's a hole, a nearby electron can jump in to fill it. In this way, the holes can also move. The missing electron.
Hello,
Is that
Engineer
sharing?
Kenneth. It's not playing actually. Kindly
Good.
replay this
We tested this
video.
before, but okay. I want to share this. Sorry for the inconvenience, but we tested earlier and it was showing.
Can I share it for you?
This one. How about this?
All right.
Yes, going.
At the heart of conventional solar cells are two special semiconductor layers. One is called an N-type layer and the other a P-type layer. In the N-type layer, the atomic arrangement results in a surplus of electrons, which can therefore move around relatively freely. In the p-type layer, it's the opposite. The atomic arrangement is missing electrons in certain places. Where one is missing, we say there's a hole. Where there's a hole, a nearby electron can jump in to fill it. In this way, the holes can also move. If you bring an N layer and a P layer together, free electrons begin to move from the N layer to fill the holes in the P layer. A special junction forms that ultimately produces an electric potential in the material. When sunlight falls on this junction, the light energy can knock an electron off its atom. This results in an extra free electron and leaves behind a corresponding hole. Each of these flows along the electric potential, migrating through the junction to the respective pole. At the pole, a special contact layer collects the electrons. The electrons flow through a conductor, and an electric current is produced.
I hope that helps. Are we on the same? Are you seeing the same slide that I see? The PV cell. Just want to confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. So I hope that video helps understand better what is going on inside our solar PV cell, why it produces electricity. That's very important. So that next time when you see a panel above, you can imagine those electrons being forced by sunlight, flowing to produce power. One solar panel is composed of 60 to 70 cells. We call it solar panel or one module. And a series or an assembly of modules, we call it solar PV array. This is the rigidity of the construction of our solar panel assembly. That's why we say it would last 20 to 25 years. We have the rigid aluminum frame and our glass protection. Just you can see our solar cell in between laminations. At the bottom is the junction box where we can connect the cables. That's the construction or assembly of our solar panel. Now let's go to the potential energy. Ano ba talaga ang maha-harvest natin available from our sunlight? I hope I could explain this properly because it's a little bit technical, but I said, imamind lang natin na madaling maintindihan. So start from the sun, solar radiance, which is the energy from the sun. There are actually two types of energy being released by the sun, the heat and the light energy. What we are after when we're talking about solar panel, solar PV, we're only after the light. Make sure that you understand this one. We don't want the heat energy, only the light energy. Now, accordingly, the industry of the solar manufacturers, they agreed that we have a standard test condition, which the sun is supposedly will deliver 1,000 watts per square meter. This is 1 square meter actually. Make it square, and that area, the sun is capable of delivering 1,000 watts per square meter. Of course, with a certain condition like 25 degrees centigrade, it should be the condition of the test, and then an air mass of 1.5. We will not go into details on that one. Let us just accept the fact that we understand that the sun can deliver 1,000 watts per square meter. The next term that I would like to introduce to you is the peak sun hour. In the Philippines, in your country, you have 4.5 to 5.5 peak sun hours. What this mean? This means that there's only 4.5 to 5.5 hours in a day that your place could receive 1,000 watts. That means if 4.5, you can only harvest 4,500 watt hours, or 5,500 watt hours. Why? Because let us see this diagram. From 6 a.m. to 12 noon to 6 p.m., our production of the solar is really not uniform, right? The intensity of the sun at 6 a.m. is not the same with the intensity during 12 noon. That's why at 12 noon you can reach 1 kilowatt, but another parts of the day it would be lesser. What we need is a uniform so that we can have a common value to base, and it should be 1 kilowatt per square meter. And in the Philippines, it's only about 4.5 to 5.5. In your country, but in my country, in Alaska, it's only 2 hours that can produce 1,000 watts because the sun will just shine in the horizon below, unlike in the Philippines above. But if comparing also to Saudi Arabia has an average of 6.5 to 7.5. Of course, alam na this, di ba? Hindi ordinaryo ang init dito. So I hope peaks and hours and the standard test condition are clear to you. Next, let us assume 5 peaks and hours a day and that 1,000 watts per square meter. Ano bang magagawa natin dito? If you have 1 horsepower motor and you have 5,000 watts energy harvested in a day, in one day you harvested 5,000 watt hours. With your 1 horsepower pump motor, you can fill your tank above for 5 hours, for example, free of electricity. How about that? That's free. 5 hours running, 1 horsepower. Maybe at this setup without the solar, maybe galit na kayo, bakit pinatakbo yung motor, right? Some other engineers, especially the mechanicals, I don't know if DMNO is here. Some engineers do not like motors. So to be fair to them, I would also give another example that might of interest to them or their favorite. That's also 1,000 watts. And they will be using it for 5 hours free of electricity. How about that, right? The ladies, mechanical engineers I'm talking about, I hope you don't think otherwise. The ladies can enjoy using these gadgets free because of solar energy. That's a possibility. But of course, you cannot run a system without losses. That is ideal, the 1,000 watts. What are the losses? Again, from irradiation going to our panel, producing DC power, and with all these components to convert this into a power conducive or applicable to our households, convert to AC power, then that will make the whole system. Supposedly from the sun to our house, it's 1,000 watts if we're talking about 1 square meter. But with the losses, like for example, shading, weather conditions, soiling, temperature, then it's another way. It's another story. Why? The weather, for example, tinamad yung araw ngayon, ayaw niya lumabas. Maraming clouds, shading, or soiling, dust, even the leaves of the trees. That's considered as losses when it will cover your panel. How much is that? That would be 50%. Imagine without the sun, that would be more than 50% losses. Temperature, as I told you, as I mentioned, we don't like the heat energy from the sun. So once the temperature rises, you will incur losses. Mismatch is that if you don't know specification from your panel to your gadgets, then you will lose also some of those supposedly production. Quality, of course, it's about money and what? Money and performance. So if you prefer money, then maybe you will expect bad performance. But of course, you have to be clear also that you will not be paying over. Cables equipment transformation, that's normal. We are we are incurring that losses even without the solar. So how much total that we are really losing from the system? 60 to 80%. What do you think? Wow, very bad system. Now we're talking about 99% efficiency. Now you're offering an 80% losses. Bad system? Well, if you compare with generator, maybe 99% efficient, but from the day-to-day operation, you're buying fuel. This one is free from the sun. Think about it. Of course, it has initial higher initial cost, but it's free. Now let's go to its basic components. I hope with power delivery availability, you are satisfied with this one. What are the components, the basic one, and this type of system? I introduced already DC generator, the solar panel. The second one is charge controller. This will be the one to be in charge in regulating the production. As we said, the intensity of the sun going to the solar panel is not uniform. So sometimes it's over voltage or lower voltage. The number two component, which is the charge controller, will serve as the regulator so that once it's come out from its system, it will give our battery a good voltage and a fair production of these parameters in the electrical. Let me switch off my AC because it's starting to it's giving big noise now. So battery, basically this is the storage. If you have surplus supply from your system, you don't want to waste that energy, you need a battery. The inverter is the normal one. It will convert your power from DC to AC so that it would be usable at home. Of course, we have the number 5, the distribution from panels, wirings, and our controls, switches. We should include the load. Without the load, this system is nothing. It's for the load. That's why that is the 6th component. The types of system. I want to focus on this one. Then later on, it will be fast. We have 4 types of system that I have here. Actually, we have a lot of combination of systems. But I want to focus this one first and listen carefully because later on it will be complicated. Solar panel, inverter, house. This system, with sunlight, it's enough. But without sunlight, you need the utility. You need power, for example, from Meralco. That's why we have meter and utility grid. But because of the Renewable Energy Act that forcing the utility that they will accept or they will buy power from the houses. That's why we have here an arrow in and out. You can actually sell to your utility because of that net metering scheme of the government. So that means if you put extra capacity that you will have surplus on your houses, then you can sell electricity to the utility. That's one benefit of the solar. This system is called as on-grid. Why on-grid? Because we call the utility, the poles there, this distribution poles as grid. It's on-grid because you are connected without battery this time. The second one is with battery. So that's the only difference. Again, as I said, if it's surplus power, you have a place to store this extra energy. And you have the battery. Nighttime, you can use this energy to power your house without the utility. So in this second system that we have, unless your solar system do not have power anymore, that's the time you can get from a utility. But if it works properly and if it's designed properly, supposedly you don't need power from the utility on this setup, and even you might be selling power to the utility. The third one is the off-grid. Now you cannot see the utility anymore. It's a system with battery, inverter, and your load, the house. If you have good system again, design, it's enough to run your house. But if you have maybe some very special load that you cannot afford to lose power, you might have this optional generator. Maybe you have some important data system in your house, so you cannot afford or risk losing power. So you may opt to have a generator. Otherwise, if your system has been designed properly, this, we call it off-grid. You do not need the electric utility. The other one is the complicated one, high-tech hybrid system, wherein you have several sources of energy, wind and solar. If you are also near to your flowing river, you can use also the water turbine. Here we have the utility. In this setup, the actor or the best player is the inverter. Why? Because it should have a capacity or the features that could be programmed so that it will select the best source at any given time. That means high technology inverter on this point, not an ordinary one. Those are the four systems that we have for combination. So it depends on your first money, second your requirement at home. You can select the system. Next. What's the time? I am really afraid of the time. Solar system is a very, very wide topic. We want to know now how the generation of our PV compared to your load, your electricity consumption. Okay, this is very important because the four systems, or even just the two systems that I've shown to you, without battery and with battery, this will answer, or this will give you a decision making. If you understand this concept properly, you can decide what system you want to use in your household. Now, first, power generation from our PV. I've shown already to you this generation. The 6 o'clock starts from 6 o'clock, slowly rises up to 12 noon. Then later on it will go down. Why? Because the intensity of the sun is not uniform. In this system, we have 1.2 kilowatt system. Assuming that we have 5 peak hours, that we have an example, the average that it could produce 1,000 watts, remember? But since we have 1.2 kilowatt, the question is, what would be your daily production of the solar PV? What do you think? Any guess? Your daily solar PV generation at this setup is 6 kilowatt hour. So you have 6 kilowatt hour available free if you have 1.2 kilowatt system. Let us go to the load side. That is PV generation. Now, how you use your load? You just simply switch on and forget everything. Then at the end, you receive the bill, you will burst into high, your blood will rise up. Oh, what is this? So you have to understand how you are using your electricity. So from midnight, 00, maybe it's uniform because the AC or refrigerator is running. Nobody is switching on and off. During daytime, nobody so much at home, but at nighttime, everybody is there and using several gadgets at the same time. So you have a peak at around 9 p.m. You have 1 kilowatt peak. So this is a typical residential load profile, not on the kilowatt or the uh, the kilowatt load that you have, but the graph, usually this is what we have. Why? Because daytime, usually we go work and go school, nobody at home. So it's supposedly level. Nighttime, people are there. That's why we call it typical. But maybe because of this pandemic, there would be a big change on this load profile that we have. Assuming we have this one later on, of course. Now, compare that one to our solar, right? Because our aim really is to have this load being shouldered by our solar system. So what will happen now if you will plot together? There you are. What you noticed? You have the 1.2 kilowatt system. You have the peak of 1 and the distributed load all throughout the day. What you noticed? This portion from 6 a.m. to around 5 p.m., only a portion, only 0.2 kilowatts is being shouldered, but the rest is wasted. Okay? So if I have a client like Kulas, then he has a problem. If he will install this kind of system, your PV generation would be wasted. There's a solution for that one, of course. We are solutions. What you will do is what we call as load management. You try to transfer your load from that peak or the time of no solar production to the time with solar production. Ironing clothes, washing of clothes, right? You can do it on a timing with the solar production. So what you can observe, almost 50% of our load now is being shouldered or covered by our solar. So our client Kulas, wow, I can save 50%. But of course, Kulas, you need to convince your household that your colleagues at house or your wife especially, you can tell her, honey, mag-install tayo ng solar, but kailangan natin na magtipid konti, and then we need to transfer some of our work. So that means ironing of clothes in no time or whatever, maglata ka ng buto-buto. Kahit mahaba yan sa gas, electric trains, okay lang. 5 hours. Then, wife of Kulas will still tell him, hoy, Kulas, tigil-tigilan mo ako. That time, sarap ng tulog ko. Diyan mo ako paplansay, manonood na ako ng teleserye dyan. Diyan mo ako papuntahin ng kusina. Umayos ka, Kulas. Kung hindi mo alam, doon sa kabilang bahay mo, walang tipid-tipid doon. So, I think option A is not possible to us. And we also will be in trouble with that one. Hindi obra yun. We will go option B. By the way, this system, we call it on-grid without battery. 50% supposedly will be saved, but unfortunately, it's not possible with the commander of Kulas. Kasi magbabago yung routine niya. Mayroon na siyang routine na gagawin. We will provide solution for that one. Option B. What will be our option B? Option B is just letting the wife do their chores on their right time as they choose, but this exists electricity. This one will be wasted without doing something. Our option B is to install battery. This is now the usage of our battery system, the storage. That supposedly gun electricity that is produced by the sun will now be stored. During nighttime, you can use that one to supply your peak, which is happening at evening. It's clear? And if you have enough power, actually, you put not only 1.2, you put 1.6 or 2.5 kilowatt, you can even export. As I said, the net metering is available now in Meralco or some nearby provinces wherein you can sell your electricity. So even you will not be paying, instead you will be paid. What about that? So sabi ni Nicholas sa misis niya, honey, see, ang ganda na ng ano natin, yung solar natin. Laki ng tipid, wala pa tayong brownout. So it's happy, diba? Sabi ng misis niya, wow, Kulas, you're the best husband I ever have. Yung pala, marami din palang misis, husband si,
This one.
si misis. Tabla si Kulas, talo si Kulas, napasubo. Anyway, the system is on-grid with battery. As I told you, as I showed you in the beginning, we have without battery and with battery. So now I think it's very clear to you what's the usage of this battery and what's the purpose of our storing this one and using this at night. So without battery, you don't have solar energy for your nighttime use. I think we will go now on our basic load calculation. Paano ba natin malalaman na ang laman ng mga appliances ko sa bahay ko ay ito yung total na laman para mabigyan ko siya ng size, tamang size ng solar. Basic load calculation. So I want you again to listen on this one because the very first thing is very clear and very simple, but later on it will be complicated. Assuming you have in your house 8 pieces LED bulb, 10 watts per bulb, and you are using 8 hours daily. Just assuming you can have it actually 5 hours, you switch off everything after 5 hours, or you can have it 12 hours. It depends on you. You have to assume. Your daily energy consumption at this sample for the lighting load is actually what? 640 watt hours. That's the energy you need for your lighting. 10 times 8 times 8. As simple as that. Diba? So grade 1, kayang-kaya niya to kung marunong siya mag-multiply. Pag hindi, ay problema yon, diba? So we have this lighting load, 8 pieces, 10 watts, and the number of hours, 8 daily. You are the one to assume that one. We cannot assume. We don't know how you use your appliances or loads at home. You just need to assume. Now let's go to the overall for the house. So again, lighting 10, 8, 8. That is 640. You have one TV, 95. How many hours now? Press 30 minutes na ako, no? More than?
Yes, yes po, yes.
Okay lang. Okay lang po tayo.
Okay pa lang, ha? So, because when I see this TV, meron akong naalala eh. Baka kasi yung iba dyan natutulog na. Let me share something. Dalawang mag-asawa, on their nasa mga 60 plus na, almost 70. But they were living happily together. So, sabi ni grandma, Daddy, halika, manood tayo ng TV. Nandito yung paborito nating pastor. Si Daddy, of course, patay mali siya. Nood dyan. Daddy, special ngayong araw to. Why? Because He will help us heal our illnesses. At dito na, Daddy. Of course, si Daddy hindi niya kaya. Umayaw. Tagal na sila magsama. So, nandun siya, tumabilan siya. Ignore lang siya, pag ganon lang siya. Then, the pastor said, now put your hands to the parts of your body that has illness. And I will heal your illness. Daddy, narinig mo. Lagay daw. Immediately, si grandma, sabi niya agad, matagal na niyang nag-suffer sa dibdib niya. Dalawang kamay. Daddy! But the Lola did not notice immediately that Daddy put his hands down at the center. And both hands open. He thought that the grandma did not notice. Daddy, bakit ba? You're not listening. Nakikinig ako. Sabi ng pastor, pagagalingin niya ang karamdaman. Hindi niya sinasabi, bubuhayin niyang patay. So, that's our story about the television. Si Daddy, dito niya sa baba nilagay. Hindi daw para yun, bubuhayin ang patay. It's just to heal the illness. Washing machine, 150 and 1 piece times 2, our daily watt hours. In this case, you have 5,030 watt hours. So itong setup na to, you will be consuming 5 kilowatt at least, more or less. Energy. Daily yan ha, daily. I hope that was clear. Now, gaano ba kalaki ang system mo? Panels at saka battery. Let's go first to the battery. Ito na naman si Kulas. Sabi ni Kulas, Sir, gusto ko sir, 2 days. Wala akong brownout kahit walang araw. So that's a big requirement. 2 days, ha? Walang araw dahil bagyo, for example. Sabi niya, kailangan sir, I still have the power kasi may solar ako eh. So medyo mayabang si Kulas. Of course, we have to assume that we will not neglect that requirement because that is requirement from our client, Kulas. So we have to multiply the requirement, which is 5,000 watts, into 2 days. Dublihin natin yon. Deep of discharge is another technical term. This is referring to a battery. Ang battery kasi, yung battery na to, pero battery ng like sa truck ha. Pag ang battery lagi mong dinidischarge below 30%, ibababa ng 30%, 10, 20, expect maybe a few months, sira na yung battery mo. It should not be discharged lower than 30. Some others assume it 50 only. It will not supply anymore. That is to protect your battery, to have your battery longer life. That's why in this formula we are multiplying this by 1.5 to have extra capacity. Not extra actually, to protect our battery and to always ensure that will be 50% remain in our battery, and that's the time the system shuts off. Not shuts off that the battery is totally drained. You will shut off the whole system and you will have your system maybe thrown away. Sayang yung pera nyo. Okay, so how much? We have watt hours. That is, we're talking about battery bank. So kung yan ang battery bank na kailangan mo, ilan battery ngayon ang ilalagay natin? So 15,000 watt hours divided by 12 and 200. 12 is the voltage, 200 is the ampere hours. This is the specification of battery. It could be 24 volts or 300 ampere hours. It depends on the market, ano yung available, di ba? And it depends also on your design. In this particular example, we're using 12 volts and 200 amperes. So how much battery we need? 6 batteries. What about our solar panels? Back to the daily requirement, 5,000 watt hours. Again, our denominator, 200 watts and the 5 sun hours. This is our assumption, the 5. Remember before, peak sun hours, we assume that we have 5 sun hours available. If you want to be conservative, you can use 4 sun hours to make sure that you have enough power. 200 watts, it depends again on the availability or your design. It could be 300 watts, it could be 500 watts. Depends on your design or your supplier, what he will offer to you. In this case, we have 5 or 6 solar panels. We just make it 6 so that we will have extra. By the way, I would like to remind you that this formula that we're using is the basic one. When it comes to actual, we will be applying safety factors. We will be applying degrading the other parameters. So maybe we will multiply it by 0.8 or multiply it by 1.2. Depends on the design. So these are only basic formula that we have. So do not just simply design this like this and I have now the capacity. Then later on you will blame me. Ano ba this engineer came in? Mali. Just to give you an idea how we are getting the sizes. Now that you know the number of panels, battery that you need, how much it costs? 157. Imagine, that is only 1.2 kilowatt, a small capacity. Si Kulas laglag. Ano yun, pre? Bakit ganon, pre? Sabi mo, 100 lang per kilowatt ang presyo. What is this? 157. Eh, ikaw ba naman, Kulas, dalawang araw? Diba? Dalawang araw, Kulas. Walang sunlight, tapos tuloy-tuloy ang ano mo. Diba? If you can observe on this calculation, our batteries is 6 pieces and 70,000. If you apply that one, the first option, which is not applicable to Kulas because of some risky situation, if you can apply that on grid, you don't have the 72,000. So that makes your system just lesser, or 80,000 at 1.2. 80,000, and you save half of your electricity bills. How about that? But kasi ito si Kulas, gusto niya ng pogi. Hindi pogi din yung presyo. This is actually a little bit exaggerated, but I just want to show to you that it's possible. 5 hours without sunlight, you will have your power. But it comes with the corresponding cost. As simple as that. That's why solar systems sometimes it's a little bit complicated. You need to understand your load, you need to understand your system, and you need to understand your components. Now, what's next? Still cost and benefit. If you have this much monthly bill, I'm sure you have, right? Later on we will discuss those who have no monthly bills and those with monthly bills. On-grid system without battery. Kung may monthly bill ka na 2,400 or this range 2.5 to 4.9, your system cost is, ta-dang! By the way, we have also the column of the capacity. You have this bill, you have this equivalent capacity. These are suggested. Okay? Suggested means average. If you want really to have it installed, there would be inspection at your places, there would be analysis in your load, and some changes will happen. This is to give you idea about immediate idea so that you can imagine immediately. So if you would like to install this system, this is your monthly savings. As I said, half. How long your money will get back depends on your system also, depends on your maintenance. If you are aware enough on the proper handling of your system, 6 to 7 years you'll get your money back. Let us even say 7 to 9 years. Your money comes back and you're now free of electricity, or 80% lesser. You just pay 20%. Is it bad investment? Then buying a car, at the first month you will be spending, and on the 5, 7, 8 years you will spending more because your car needs more maintenance. You are not just wasting your initial cost, you are wasting in the long run compared to a car. And you compare to the investment in solar, it's totally opposite. Solar system is actually an investment. Clear? Or muntik na? By the way, if you have some questions, ita-type nyo lang natin. Kung wala tayong time later on, we can still answer that one. Bigay nyo lang yung mga contacts nyo, we can deliver the answers. I'm not sure if we have time for this one to complete everything, but don't hesitate or feel free to give questions, to ask questions. So ngayon, still, sabi ko niyo pa rin, hindi reasonable, mahal. Di ba? Ang dami pa rin nagsasabi, mahal. So we made a research. Bakit ba ayaw nitong mga magagaling na to? Ano bang meron sila, di ba? So they said, high initial cost. You're right. Complicated system. Ang gulo pala noon. Ang dami pala nating intindihin para magkaroon. Hindi yung tulad sa refrigerator, lagay ko dyan, takbo na yan. Nga, no, magulo. Long period to get your money back. 6 to 7 years. Okay? Long period. Afraid to invest due to lack of knowledge. Masisira lang yan. Di ko alam paano yan. Bad experience. By bad experience, we have some colleague that bought one time a solar panel. Those early days that solar panel is still very hot topic. Then only to find out there's no output. When he checked right below, under the sun, nothing comes out, no voltage. Then later on, he found out that the panel actually, when he really dismantled the assembly, it was a tarpaulin, printed solar panel tarpaulin, then with the lamination. So lack of knowledge, or maybe you are just complacent, just simply bought it by yourself. That's dangerous. And because of this bad experience, you will say, no way. I have also a colleague in our project that he said he one time bought the solar system, not big capacity, around 500 watts only. But he forgot to have this in a proper installation. So from time to time, there will be shading. The battery bank is not always fully charged, and he don't have this protection for his battery. So what happened? Battery dry out, and he wasted the money, the battery, and he don't want to additional investment, and he lost appetite on solar. So lack of knowledge and bad experience. Tama ba? Okay, not reasonable really. So tama siguro sila. Let's try this. As I told you, mayroon kang monthly bill? Siyempre, meron. Yung wala, yun yung expert kanina introduction. Those brilliant boys that they decline to their source of electricity free. Wala silang monthly bill. Or maybe you have now your solar. This time, solar system, wala kang monthly bill. Right? In fact, you are selling electricity to the electricity utilities. Is it coming down, your monthly bills? No. It's coming up and up. Sabi nila walang forever. If you will not think now properly, and you will go to that not reasonable solar, then you will have forever with your electric bills. Congratulations. Okay? You will have forever electric bill. By monthly, ito pa. It's very ironic. Pinag-ipunan natin. We try to really have air condition, to have comfort in our house, mga kasamahan natin sa bahay. Ilang buwan para makabili tayo. Then wow, I have now the air condition. Then later on, your children will be, ilang oras na tumako. Patayin na yan! It's ironic. You bought certain appliance for your comfort, but from time to time, you have high pressure because you might be thinking at the end of the month, you will be shocked by your electricity bills, right? You will buy appliance with all, wow, I have my new TV. I have my electric fan. Patayin nga yan, kanina pa yan. Ano ba? I am helping you. So what about installing in solar? Pay the same amount for 7 to 8 years, or maybe a little bit more, if some discrepancy. Then 20% lesser for the next 15 years. Why? Because our solar panel is 20 to 25 years old. Of course, you have some maintenance for it. Or if you have really capacity to pay no more, 20 years or forever. Bakit? Totally off-grid ka. And hindi lang yun, you will be selling electricity to the distribution utility. So ikaw na yung magsasabi kay Meralco, may bill ka sa akin after the end of the month. So ikaw na mayabang, di ba? You will be free from electric bill. Parang ano yun, parang bangungot. This is the answer. Okay? Convinced ba? Hindi. Baka failure yung ano ko. Not only that, benefit. We have also a lot of suppliers now having this plan. Mayroon pa nga iba 10 years, pautang yan. Down payment very low. Then monthly, that's why I said you will be paying almost the same. But at the end of 8 years, you will receive your money back. You will own the system, and now you will be 80% free of the electric bills. So these are now your bills, your kilowatt, the same as I said, that's normal. Recommended with that amount of bill monthly, and you have your cash. how much it costs. The down payment depends on your supplier. Sometimes they offer 10%, 20%, depends on your capacity. Of course, there will be evaluation. How qualified are you to avail this installment plan? It could be 2 years old to 3 years. As I said, there are others now offering the rest of the life. I mean, not the life, the rest of the time that your solar panel will be paid, 8 years. So what about that? And maybe free of maintenance, except for some major items that pass the guarantee of the manufacturer. For example, our inverters now, before it's 2 years, now our inverters, there are some inverters that are six years warranty or more. Even the battery, the lifetime now is a little bit higher. So if you have a supplier that has good reputation, I tell you, do not buy just simply, as I said, it's complicated system. Do not buy a system, buy the company. That means you will have a company, a partner. Anytime after 2 years, 3 years, you have a problem, they will come to you and fix your solar system. Not that you by yourself, you study so much hard on how to learn the technology, and at the end, keep on repairing, and you throw after 5 years. You lose your money, of course. Do not buy the system, buy the company. Now, where are we? Again, this video from my colleagues. Can you tell me immediately if this is
Walang video, press. Walang video.
okay? Let me
Walang video.
go direct.
By the way, Engineer Kenneth, before you proceed, since you discuss about the batteries, may question lang po about the battery.
Okay, sir, go ahead.
As per the question coming from Mr. Nelson Ginto, please determine how long the batteries will last. Knowing this will explain if solar panel system will be beneficial or not.
The batteries, as mentioned, some 2 years, 3 years. Now, new batteries, especially the lithium, which are new, but new to the mass production, but they are already using that before. It lasts 10 years, the lithium battery. But again, with this, it comes with a cost. So you go for a battery that has lower life, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, then you have to replace that one. And our calculation is that includes already those parameters, the maintenance, even the increase in our utility production or cost of the electricity. We have a formula for that one from the Department of Education, Energy, giving us a formula how to compute the ROI. We just input the data, and then that's what we come out 6 to 7 years. As I said, we will make it longer to be more conservative, but it's worth. Okay, I hope I answered the question. Can we proceed?
Okay po, please proceed po.
This is
Ako, sir.
maybe two lang. Pero walang video? Meron.
Walang video.
Engineer Kenneth, walang video.
Okay, sorry. This is a video from our colleagues, and we try to edit it, but it's not possible.
Engineer, i-open nyo po muna siya tapos before you share. Kasi nasa ano lang kayo eh.
Okay, we'll
Stop
try
nyo muna
once
sharing.
more. We'll try
Stop.
once more.
Play.
And then play nyo po.
Play, then start share.
Then we'll start sharing.
Okay, Engineer Kenneth, while you're playing. Okay.
Try this
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Yes, yes.
Assalamualaikum. Good day po sa lahat. Ako po ay si Edmond Cajeras, nakatira po dito sa Zamboanga City. Ipakita ko po sa inyo ngayon ang aking 5 kilowatt hybrid solar home system. Ito po ay kinabit October last year ng mga kasama ko po sa Alternative Renewable Energy Solutions, ARES, sandigan ng OFW Multipurpose Cooperative. Nag-decide po kami na mag-solar kasi po dito sa lugar namin nagkakaroon po ng brownouts. Dumating sa punto na 3 times a day ang naranasan po na brownout ng aking pamilya. Sa pamamagitan po ng ARIS at sandigan ng OFW Multipurpose Cooperative, natupad po ang solar home system ko sa Zamboanga. Malaking tulong ang solar home system para sa amin. Ngayon po, hindi na namin namamalayan na nag-brown out pala sa lugar namin. Halos wala na po akong binabayaran na electric bill. At sa kunting paraan po, nakakatulong po kami sa kalikasan. Kasi po, ang solar energy ay clean energy. Hindi po ito gumagamit ng langis o uling na nagbubuga ng usok at polusyon na nakakasira sa kalikasan.
Alberto Benitez Castro ng taga Maliwer, Bayambang, Pangasinan. At siguro ang masasabi ko sa iyo, napakalaking tipid ko, lalo na sa babayaran sa kuryente ko. Nakatipid ako ng gusto. Katulad nitong mga appliances ko araw. Electric fan, TV, sound system ko. Pagka walang kuryente, automatic solar na ang magpapagana dyan. Kaya continuous ang internet, hindi ako nawawalan ng internet connection. Kung nag-abroad, kung andyan pa kayo, lalo yung mga tropa mo dyan sana nga marami kang bidhani na magpakabit dito sa solar. At ako ay napakatunay na talagang napakaganda ito talaga sa loob ng bahay, lalong-lalo na sa mga medyo may kalayuan sa bayan. Ito ay talagang importante.
Engineer na exit. Engineer Kenneth.
Please proceed for your discussion.
It's okay. That was already some pictures we're showing there.
Okay, okay.
Would be already shown. That was supposedly showing the installation and the solar system. It's common anyway.
I think that will be great also, Engineer Kenneth, if you can show us the photos of the installations. Kasi that will be very interesting to see.
Okay. So we really need to see the installation.
Yes, that will be, we will be interested.
You're saying we have enough time, huh?
Yes, we have enough time. Like,
We're very flexible, Engineer Kenneth.
flexible. Huwag lang umabot ng alas 7.
Okay, you can make some of your topics now. Later, some discussion while I'm looking for the file.
Chat. How would it cost for the solar panel for the housing setup?
Oh, oh, oh.
I think hinahanap pa ni Engineer Kenneth yung mga files niya. Engineer Richard, baka merong mga ano dyan, question na pwede niyong sagutin.
Yes, actually, someone asked the questions about the what is the angle and direction the PV panels should be installed to gain a maximum sunlight. So this is the question from Engineer Kenneth. The direction. What is the best, east or west?
In your place in the Philippines,
Yes, of course.
based on the orientation, your panel should be facing Australia. South.
West. South.
Australia, south, not west.
That's the answer from Engineer Kenneth. Also, I added a link in our chat group, the sun calculator. So it depends on your location. You can check the sun calculator. As I saw before, yung sun direction is changing once the month is changing also, right, Engineer Kenneth?
Yes, in the engineering chart, that's true. But because of our proximity, as far as the axis of the sun is concerned, that is only little effect. There's only a small angle deviation. Compared nga dun sa Alaska, yung winter at saka summer season is big difference. So they have, sometimes some of their panels have really this tracking device to track the position of the sun. But in our case, in the Philippines, 15 degrees, as long as you're facing Australia or facing south, that would be enough. And it's also proven that in installation like this, wherein only small deviation from this sun deflection when it comes to different seasons, the tracking device is not really, it will not pay because you will be having additional maintenance of the motors for this tracking device. So just fix it 10 to 15 degrees facing south. And of course, as I said, you have to have a good partner in this installation. Unless you are very technically able, there's no problem. You can learn and understand carefully and do it yourself installation. So let me share now some of the big photos that we have. I hope you can see these photos now. Is it, can you see it, Engineer Richard?
Opo, pero hindi pa siya nag-play.
No, pictures now. The video's done.
Okay, sir.
So this is our team there at Zamboanga. That's the inverter that was installed.
Inverter and the controller.
Yeah, and we have the battery bank. That's why he said that he almost could not notice that there is brownout because he has a good battery bank capacity. So his system is around 5 kilowatt, and he said almost nothing now. He's not paying anymore. Almost, not 100%, of course.
Engineer Kenneth, regarding these batteries that you shown, you know that the effect of the temperature to the batteries will lessen the battery life, right?
Yes.
So is it good to install the batteries outside the room temperature?
There is around 25 degrees for the battery. So if your surrounding temperature not reach 25, so you have to be thinking about having that one in a room that will produce 25 degrees maintained, so that your battery will be having longer life. Of course, it will operate in a higher, but yes, the life of the battery would be affected.
Thank you.
Okay, so let us now proceed with our presentation so that we can finish this one. That's the video clip you have shown. Next is what we have here. This is from Zamboanga. As I told you, we have a calculator for this one. We're talking about lifetime of the PV, rated capacity. This is not intended for you to see because the figures are very small. Just to show you that we have a calculator from the Department of Energy. Maybe it's not 100% accurate, but this is with deep study. Even the generation charge and the maintenance, which is, I think that's 3% of the total cost, 900 per year. So in this highlighted 7, this is the year 7 that he is supposed to have his money back. As you can see here, monthly savings 6,800. This figure is now the actual from Brad Edmond in Zamboanga City. This is the average now savings that he got. And from that, we now input some of put the in the calculator some of the data. We arrived into 7 years, so it could be 7 to 8 years. On the other hand, in Pangasinan, the system is a little bit smaller. It's 1.2 kilowatt, so his savings is around only 1,400. As I told you, it's around 50%. This is really almost fitting with our example, the house of Colas. 1.2 kilowatt. Now, here we also encoded the monthly savings that he has, and we arrived into a 7 to 8 years return of investment. As I told you that even if it will become more, because maybe sometimes we're not expert and some components fails, but with respect to the long-term effect or benefit, it is worth having a solar system at home. You know, we are monitoring this even if we are here in Saudi Arabia. If there's some trouble, we can monitor because the system, the inverter that we installed there could be operated or manipulated online. So no worries. And if you can notice, Pangasinan and Zamboanga, we're talking about almost end to end of the Philippines. We just started, but we are proving as an OFW, we are nationwide and we can do things. And that's our model project. We started already quite a few years now, but it's hard to start. And in fact, you will be lots of adjustment as a company, but slowly but surely. And now we are 100% ready to face challenges and provide solutions, of course. So what I'm saying that, as I told you, do not just simply buy the system, buy a partner for your system. So planning, that's the question actually now. Heat is number one, it will reduce. And that means you have to have good installation. There should be enough air circulation in your panels. The spaces, if you can see this one, totally from one panel to another. So how much power you can have in your roof? We give you already an example of that one. And then the tilt, this is winter. See the difference in that area in Alaska, in our country. The tilt, winter is almost perpendicular. But during summer, they put it lower, around 20 degrees. That's what I said, that in that areas, it's really you have to do some adjustment on the different seasons of the year. But in the Philippines, not so much. You just place it there. As long as on the initial installation you have considered proper orientation, it will work. Now, the other one is the mounting of your rooftop. We're talking about 20 to 25 years or even 15 years. So you cannot afford to install your panels with a roof. Maybe 2 years it will be dilapidated, right? So this is not a good installation. Although maybe for a few panels, after you repair your room, you just put it again. But in large installation, no, you have to consider proper mounting. Operational maintenance, of course, like the battery, for example, you have to have a good battery rooms. These are electronic gadgets, for example, the inverter. You cannot afford that one to be exposed to sunlight. Another one for planning is the permits. You need to go to your municipality to process the permits. It's a system, of course. We need to be safe and we need to be legal. Then there might be signed by professional engineers, electrical professional engineers. That's us. Malapit na, hindi pa ako nag-professional. So we will be signing that one. It's an additional money for us. But of course, it would be safe for you if it would be signed by proper authority. Then, of course, the building code you have to follow. Those are parts of the planning on your system. That's why I always say, do not buy the system unless you are really technically able. No problem with that one. You can do it yourself. And in fact, if you're the one doing it, you'll become slowly expert on it. And later on, you will be really free of electricity. You can even, as I said, sell electricity. But if not, and even if you are technically able, but you don't have time, so try thinking of really buying a company partner. So to put it in writing, investigate your home energy efficiency. I have a friend. He wants to install solar. First, he examined his appliances. He were using conventional lights. By the moment he replaced it with LED, not even the solar, just LED, all his lights, he saved around 30%. Imagine that one. Why? Because almost half or even lesser this wattage of the LED. The 10 watts, before you need 50 watts to have that illumination. But now LED, you can maybe need only 10 watts. If you replace all those with LEDs, maybe your 1,000 or 2,000 wattage all over your house maybe needs only 500 watts for LEDs. And that's savings already, not even mentioning solar yet. Assess your solar potential and limitations. So your potential, meron ka bang araw? So don't just simply buy these panels to find out later on, nandun ka pala nakatira sa basement. So wala pala ang paglagyan ng bubong. So mag-isip-isip ka muna. Do you have really the capacity? Mayroon ka bang sunlight doon, di ba? Or you are living in the condominium pala. Bit-bit mo na yung solar. Uy, 10th floor pala ako. 20th floor pala yung condominium. Wala pala akong bubong. So that's consideration. You're planning on your mounting or layout. Estimate your solar options and electricity needs. Ito yung sinasabi natin na yung consumption mo. Para saan ba yung solar mo? Do you want it, the whole of your house system, 100% solar? So maybe not because it costs higher. But there's an option. You can have it modular. First phase, you can have the size. Then you can add later on. Okay, but again, you need an expert because battery-wise, if you have this battery bank, and then you add the system solar, then you increase the battery, you cannot put that one in series. Why? Because the old battery will damage the new one. So new battery for all. That's one thing you have to think about. Electricity needs. Are you going to put that one for your light loads only or for your air conditionings which are consuming bigger loads? So you have to think about that one. Obtain bids and site assessments. That's what I'm talking about. You have to have contractors that have good idea and can give you proper consultancy on your needs. Understand available financing and incentives. I already mentioned to you that there are available a lot of suppliers now. Work with your installer and utility to install the system and app agreements. There should be some contracts if you will avail for installment, right? That's normal. And for the permits, we have very wide topic for that one, but that we can talk about permits when you have really decided to install solar. So where we are now, do not waste this opportunity. We engineers and professionals, we should be the first one to lead in promoting renewable energy. We should be the first one also to benefit the technology, reduce and eliminate our bills. We have abundant resources of renewable energy. And I'm proud to offer you. I'm not saying that we are the only one, but itong organization na to ay may pusong OFW. Yun lang i-assure ko sa inyo. But only OFW understands an OFW. Don't forget, this is brought to you by Aris and our, of course, mother organization. Thank you for the opportunity. PPO, thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Engineer Kenneth, for your very educational presentation. Currently, we have some questions here. Okay, most of them they're asking about the partners. Okay, in your company, sir, all parts of the SHS or the solar home system have warranty for after sale purposes, or what other after sale you offer? And one more question is that if we will order it from a partner of for the SHH, what is the warranty for the whole system, and what type of warranty we will get?
Thank you for that question. Now, with respect to warranty, we go to the components. Our battery have its own warranty. Our inverter has its own warranty, and also the solar panels. Maybe in the long run, what we can offer is the service that we will be there. But when it comes to warranty, out of warranty, then we have to have our system of components paid. Maybe the services would be lesser because we are already partners. Even the other suppliers, they can also provide that one. There are even others offering a whole life of that. As I said, how long you will pay your solar, they will offer free service of the maintenance, only the maintenance. So you are assured that that lifetime of the solar, when you are able to pay or your money comes back, that this system will operate. The sad thing is sometimes at the fourth year or third year, one component fails and you cannot repair anymore, and you need to buy additional, bigger initial capital. So that's some of the frustrations of others.
Okay, Engineer Randy, can you ask the other questions to Engineer Kenneth?
Yes, good morning, sir. There's a question from hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me, please?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a question from Mr. Clark Joven Buak. How many PV cells in installing in home design if we use all the loads in our home?
Come again, sir. How many?
How many PV cell that we need in installing in home design if we use all the loads in our home?
Okay. So again, we provided earlier how to compute the panels. This is based on your load. So if we don't have a summary of your loadings, I think we need to discuss really what is or your total load requirement the system will follow. That means battery panels, we can identify how much these components, how many panels we need, as long as we know your load. I see one question here also from Clark Juvin about the two types of solar panels, the poly and the monocrystalline. And then he was thinking, he is asking about the thin film. Actually, this is the third type, the thin film, which is flexible. These panels, poly and mono, is hard. You cannot just simply bend this one. The thin film is flexible, so it could go into the whatever the aesthetics of your house. Even your curved window, for example, you can place that one, or even your roof if you have some curvings. This thin film can be used. It has a lower efficiency, of course, but when it comes to installation, it will not just, it will join with the aesthetics of your house. That's one advantage. But with efficiency, it's lower. Yes, thin film is there. I did not include that one. The most common I just mentioned. I hope I answered. Any other question?
From Mr. Ronald Ataydi, an on-grid permit from the utility company before the installation.
Okay. Basically, we need really permit. What happened in our place is that the implementation of these regulations from the government is not strong enough. That's why sometimes they will say, oh, why in our place we were not required for permit, right? But in some other places, especially subdivisions, the ownership would require permits. Why? Because of safety. Anything you alter in your house, especially this one is electricity, then we have to ensure that we are installing safe system. And that is the advantage of having a permit. You can install without permit at your own risk, of course.
Engineer Kenneth, regarding this permit, is it the one who will use it to apply this permit, or that one who will be installing it?
First, let us see that, let's go to the side of the government. We are requiring qualified, right, or certified. So as with the electricity, if we want to connect it to the utility, like you will avail of the net metering. So that means you will be connecting to the distribution. Like for example, Meralco. Meralco has its own regulation. He will really inspect you if you are following standards or your installation is accordance to the standards. So how he gonna do that? He should have, he will be asking you qualified technicians, qualified engineers. So who will do it? If you are qualified, you have all these certifications, you can do it. Without that, you have to hire contractors, installers. As I said, also partners.
In addition to that, Engineer Kenneth, actually there is a question before, way back to the chat group. There is a question actually coming from one of our attendees that how much is the or how big is your supply of solar panels before you can go for the net metering for here in Meralco?
I'm not sure the minimum, but I know for sure the maximum, 100 kilowatt.
You have a power plant already?
No, not power plant. That's possible in a big house actually. Imagine if you have this money and you can have this 100 kilowatt, you are selling electricity to utility grid, that big amount. And that is part of the Renewable Energy Act, and it is for us. It's for the consumers.
But for the net metering, Engineer Kenneth, there will be a net meter, of course, no? That will be installed by the provider, right?
That's a special type of meter, not the ordinary meter.
Yes.
Because the ordinary meter could not read the in and out, only the in.
Yes.
Only incoming, it will read. The conventional meters, but outgoing, it will read also, but it will read as an incoming, so it will double. You will be charged the incoming and you will be charged also the outgoing. So if you will go net metering, be sure to replace your meters with the net metering meters.
Yeah. In addition to this one, actually the one that we buy or we bought from the electricity company is much higher than what we are selling to them actually. So right, Engineer Kenneth, no? 9 pesos from Meralco once you are buying, and around 5 pesos only when you're selling, right?
Yeah. Because it should be fair also. The Meralco is buying the power from the independent power producers, which is selling. You call it the production charge, utility charge. I forgot it's from the production. So it's around 5 for example, 5 peso per kilowatt hour. It will reach 10 to 11 because of the charges of the distribution, the utility grid, and losses, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then it will become 10 or 11 kilowatt per hour. But basically, the power both by the utility, the Meralco, for example, is just 5 peso per kilowatt hour. So if they will buy it from you, they will also compare that one the same price with that production in the IPP. So that, yeah, you're right, around 5 pesos per kilowatt hour. It's lower, of course, but you are selling.
No,
Do you have
Lapan.
any question coming from the chat group? Can you read all the other questions?
Engineer Randy, can you start from 11:20 a.m.? We have a very interesting question here. And of course, we should start from there because you're already reading from the bottom. You have to read.
Actually, can I ask something to Mr. Kenneth, to Engineer Kenneth? Sorry.
Of course, sir.
Sir, tanong ko lang po. Yung sinyo natin kanina na testimonial, one is from the hybrid, no? Sa taga Zamboanga. I hope is purely, I mean, he's totally dependent for the solar kasi yun ang nagpapatakbo ng solar power sa kanyang bahay, yung all electricity. While in Pangasinan, I think is partial only. So with that respect, for previously he's connected with his own power panel inside the house. When you are doing to install a new solar panel, he's isolated or a new installation wiring for his solar panel. It's like that, or just simply provide like ATS, but not ATS. They call it manual transfer. So all coming from solar, and the one is coming from the Meralco or electric cooperative. Are he installing a new wiring for solar power, something like that?
Can you repeat the question? The question only at the end.
My question is, he installing a dedicated wiring only for the solar, while his power from the utility is maintaining, or he put some manual transfer switch just only for the appliances connected with the solar. Is he doing like that?
Thank you for the question, engineer. In Zamboanga, what is best there is that the whole load could be accommodated by the solar system. So that means you just go on the main and the inverter will take care of that one. Inverter means if there's no power, the inverter will take power from the utility. If there's power from the solar on battery, the inverter will automatically just distribute it the whole. No need to separate because the system is capable of taking the whole load. But in Pangasinan, that was almost half. Actually, we installed a bigger inverter, 2.5, that supposedly could handle everything. But the panel and the battery is lower. So see the combination. Now, what is going on there is you have to transfer some of the loads. Yeah, you're right. There will be some changes on the wirings. You have to select the loads that you wanted to be powered by solar during solar production or even during nighttime, so that immediately you will not lose your battery, because if you will charge everything, then maybe for 1 hour, 2 hours, you'll be drained, your battery will be drained. So yeah, you have to figure out your connection down below if your system, if you're just choosing or selecting particular loads to be powered by solar in a particular installation.
So this is for the benefit of our listener, because maybe somebody is planning to install solar and they have the solar that they are going to choose is only for the, how they call it, the essential, so that they have separation of the load.
Okay. Actually, in the beginning of the discussion from Engineer Kenneth, he mentioned that different types of solar panel energy, which is off-grid, on-grid, hybrid, ano po. So, as what he said also from our distinguished speaker, um, it is very important that we ask from the expert, okay? Because as you know, of course, this is electricity, so there is some synchronization and other things that we need to know, which experts knows very well than us. Even us from the electrical, of course, organizations, we are also learning from our experts. Okay. As what our press Belmore told Randy, but he has some problem on his connection. I will read the question coming from Mr. Darwin of UAP. This is the question: how to make a house solar ready? Meaning, anong mga dapat i-anticipate sa electrical layout para ma-anticipate ang solar system to avoid exposed conduits? Does it need separate panel board, electrical room? That's the question, Engineer Kenneth.
Yeah, that's correct. You have really to consider the wiring because it might be not very good to see dangling wires all around. And that would be, for me, I cannot answer that one by one. It's simply an expert will evaluate. That's why we have on our suggestion on how to prepare your house. There would be assessment. It depends on the user or the owner, how big or what part of the load that would be covered by solar only, or are you covering the whole? That will make the difference. If you will say only lightings, because I don't have budget yet, only one lightings, then there would be reconfiguration of your wiring system so that during nighttime, if the solar will be supplying from the battery, then only the circuit from of your lightings will be covered. Then there would be some reconnection of your wirings. That would be. Regarding creating another room or another panel, it would be possible if there would be really a lot of changes in your connections.
Okay. In addition to this one po, different connection of the solar panel will also depend sa the size of the cable there po. Pagka ang solar panel ninyo ay connected into parallel, of course the wire is more smaller than the that is, yes, smaller. But when it in your correct, is it smaller when you're connecting it into parallel connection, or is it bigger when the solar panel is connected into series?
When you connect in series, cable-wise, series, then parallel. Parallel will be lower because it will be distributed.
Yes.
Lower
Lower current, right?
You are putting me in trouble, Engineer Ricky. Richard.
Okay, sorry. Because they are asking about the cable. Cable will be, they wanted to see some cable, so cable will become bigger when, of course, the current is much higher.
There are professional engineers here.
Okay, I think
that's our basic questions. Yeah, thank you for that.
One more question here, Engineer Kenneth, from Sen Carascal. Okay, what is the maintenance and frequency of maintenance required for the solar panel, considering that it is exposed to all weather condition?
Okay, the solar panel is the most less maintained, right? So I would say in that case, it depends on your place. Maybe you have a environment that maybe malaging merong alikabok, maraming dahon na ano, di ba? So you have to clean it frequently. What is frequently? Then you have to observe it first. 1 month, it's okay. 2 months, it's okay. Then once you say the frequency now, then that would be the frequent. That's part of our maintenance. Usually, what is frequent? frequent depends on the condition of your site. So it might be every month because you have always this dust coming around. Because if I would say the frequency is 4 months, then maybe 2 months your panel have no more electricity because it's already covered with dust. So what I'm saying, when it comes to frequency and cleaning the panels, we don't know. It more depends on your situation at home. But usually these panels, as long as you have a very good environment, usually doesn't have maybe twice or 3 times a year. But still, one thing, be sure not to wash it with detergents or some other chemicals, because once you damage your, at long run, you will damage the insulation. It might also give losses to your production of the electricity in your panels. So just simply water and wipe it with water. Avoid chemicals.
Okay, one more question is that how much, this one is actually answered before in the presentation of Engineer Kenneth, but still I will read it. It's coming from Mr. Timmy of UAP. How much would it cost for this solar system, solar system normally for the housing setup, and which system is preferable to be used? So it was discussed already by Engineer Kenneth before. Pakicheck na lang po.
The last words, the last question.
How much would it cost for this solar normally for the housing setup, and which system is preferable to be used?
Okay. So how much it costs? Now there are suppliers that are offering as low as 50,000 per kilowatt. That's very, very cheap already. 50,000 per kilowatt. So that 1.2 times 50,000. Imagine how much it costs, right? So around 60,000 only. What we installed in Pangasinan is around 2.5 inverter, but the system is around only 2.2. But the inverter is higher, so we come out with a 140,000. So first, direct cost. When you say direct cost, Manila cost, it's around 60, 50, 80, or 100,000 per kilowatt hour. But when it comes to installation, that's another thing. Because maybe in the installation, maybe I need some crane to install your solar. That's exaggerated, but the installation or the condition, the site condition will affect the cost. That's why we usually separate the component cost, and usually the question, how much when I install my house? Then we need to assess first. That's why there should be first assessment on the site, at the site, to make sure that our cost would be fair enough to both parties.
Okay. Okay. Still, I will proceed with these questions. It is from Jose RC. Which one is more safe and reliable, the off-grid or the on-grid? In terms of overloading, if there is, which one do you recommend? And the next question from Renato is that, what is the minimum size of PV system that the utility provider, example Meralco, accept in order to make the system on-grid?
The second question, I answered already. The minimum, I'm not sure about that. I think you have to consider also, because if you are installing a very small system, that means you can just sell a portion, but you will be paying the net metering and some other charges, which is very high. And you install only a very small portion, selling a very small amount of energy. So you have to think about it. The small, maybe you will put 10 watts, then apply net metering, or 100 watts. I think that would not be, I said we go to the maximum, which is 100,000 allowed. Even if you have money, you want to install 200,000, it's not possible because the low just allow up to 100 kilowatt. The small, I'm not sure about it. And the other question, what is safe and in terms of overloading on-grid and off-grid? That's about actually first benefit. The benefit of on-grid is that you will be free of battery. On-grid is based on if you have, for example, grocery, wherein your load is uniform. From 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, you start your big freezers in your store, and your big air conditioners there, that's straight the whole day. Okay? That's best for solar without battery. Why? Because the production of your solar is totally consumed by your load. Without battery, you know the battery is 50% cost of the system. So your money back maybe only 3 years, 4 years. Imagine only an inverter and a panel, and now your production of the solar is totally converted to money, because the usage is, it's uniform, AC and freezers, and from 7 to 8. And the best thing also, it's stored. So maybe 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, no more people there, and no more production of solar. So the best for that is setup is the on-grid. Okay? For the off-grid, of course, if you are far away, wala kang ibang sources ng electricity, that's the off-grid, I'm sorry. The off-grid, kung malalayo ka, yung probinsya mo, tapos gusto mo may bungalow ka doon, gusto mo may ilaw, so that's off-grid. And when it comes to safety, that's the design matter. We go to the experts, because there would be calculation, the wiring, the breakers that we will use, the system, it should be properly sized when it comes to overclocking. That is design matter.
Okay, one more question is, ask ko lang po kung sino ang contact person sa Philippines, and saan po yung office, if ever pwede po bumisita and mag-ask ng site visit.
Yes, sir. Actually, one of our general manager there, Mr. Cesar Padre. Maybe some of you knows Mr. Cesar. He's our manager in the Philippines, and he is now finalizing its Philippine-wide operation. Mr. Padre is in Paranaque.
Can you give the email address of yours, or any connections, or any contact details from your side? For those who is actually willing to install their solar panel in their houses.
Yeah, of course. We are very willing on that one, and I'm sorry, I'm not ready for this. Giving some, mahina tayo pagdating sa marketing. Mahirap yung engineer magnegosyo eh. Hindi marunong mag-market. Basta
Engineer, before you provide to them, just want to ask one question kasi parang hindi ko na-clear yun. Ilan ba yung useful life niyan, yung solar panel na yan? Is it lifetime ba yan, or meron lang siyang estimated useful life?
Yeah, the solar panel, actually we have two warranty for that one. First, the warranty of the performance. The other one is the warranty of the lifetime. Usually the performance, they say it's production. For example, they say this is 200 watts panel and it's 10 years performance warranty. That means if they say that it's 200, this will be performing output of 200 watts for 10 years. After 10 years, it will degrade, maybe a little percentage, maybe 199, 198. Slowly it will degrade. The lifetime is 20 to 25 years.
As I know, there is a 0.5% degradation, nag-degrade po siya ng 0.5% per year, right? Engineer Kenneth, ano po?
That's what I'm saying. There are two warranties, the performance and the lifetime. The performance usually now is 10 years. That means you are assured that 10 years it will perform as is.
Okay. One more
After
question.
that, there will be degradation.
One more question from UAP, from Architect Geraldine Sweeney. Where to apply the permit? Is it the same as the securing a building permit from the municipal or city engineers?
Yes. No difference when you apply this permit. The same when you have the electrical system approved. It's the same offices of the government.
Engineer Kenneth, is it in that municipality or city engineers? Is it in that electrical provider po? Electricity provider? Which
the one will apply?
Opo, yung permit. Is it the electricity provider or the engineering, city engineering?
The city engineering. We have a separate
say something?
Office of the building official, I think.
The LGU, Office of Building Official.
Yeah.
It's required actually sign and seal by legitimate electrical Actually, professional electrical engineer ang requirements dyan sa solar system. Before you start, you need to secure first the permit. Then, of course, when you're going to connect to Meralco on grid, you need to have a coordination with them. Actually, what gives tips to have a further requirement for this one, I rather suggest doon sa mga nagbabalak magpagawa ay pumunta sila sa licensed electrical engineer. Ang first step yan, kung talagang gusto nila magpa-install, i-review yung wiring installation at saka yung load nyo sa bahay. Titignan yung existing yung power panel. I-identify yung mga various load nyo. Then magkakaroon ng calculation, de-define yung sizes ng cable. Is very important po yun na makita yung size ng main cable nyo at saka yung mga loads ng housing at the same time yung mismong rating ng panel board nyo. Otherwise, huwag nyo na pong ituloy kung hindi nyo gagawin yun kasi it's very dangerous sa isang bahay na magkakaroon kayo ng panel, magkakaroon ng retrofitting o magkakaroon ng additional load without knowing na ano yung actual size ng cable nyo, actual size ng circuit breaker. Magkakaroon po kayo ng problema. Baka mauwi pa sa pagkasunog. Ilang po ang importante ron.
Actually, you answered the next question, Engineer Jaime. Actually, the question coming from UAP again, from Dennis Angeles, Architect Dennis Angeles. Regarding the electrical wires, can we still utilize the existing cables already installed? Or are we need to install separate cables wire for the solar to the circuit? So it was answered na po, Architect Dennis from our PE, our professional electrical engineer, Engineer Jaime Agnes po. The one who answered the question, he is one of our professional electrical engineer in the IIE-SA po. One more question is coming from Ronnie Batchelor. Kung may expansion ng solar panels, ano po ba ang gamitin safety factor para sa existing inverter? This is about expansion po, about the inverter.
Yeah, regarding the inverter, usually there is around 30 or 25% oversize of the inverter. So if you will add, then you have to consider that you will not reach to this limit. Like for example, as I mentioned in Pangasinan that we installed there, the capacity of the panel is 1.2 only. But because of the sizes of the inverters, there's no smaller size. We installed 2.5. That means the inverter is capable of carrying up to more than 2 kilowatt, and the system is only 1.2. That means, again, he can add panel if he wants to, up to 2.2 kilowatt. There should be margin for the inverter because if you will fully load the inverter or any component into its 100%, again, lifespan would be shorter.
Okay, I think we will be, can we...
Yeah, that's it. It's already...
One last question po. Actually, this is a question coming from Mr. Henry Roque. Not Harry Roque po, from Henry Roque. Sir, pwede po ba magpa-advance orientation, halimbawa sa barangay from your representative?
Yes, of course. Depends.
Okay, Mr. Henry Roque, just contact Engineer Kenneth about this orientation. Now we will proceed to the closing. Okay.
Before we close, we have to award the certificate.
Yes. Okay. With this award, okay.
Can you share your screen, Engineer?
Yes po. Alam po. Yan. Ano ba yan? Na. Kita po ba? Itong aking screen po.
Okay.
Kita ba na?
Pakibaba na lang ng konti. Para makita yung kabuuan ng certificate. Ayun. Thank you.
Yan. Medyo lumit. Yan. Yan alam mo na.
Yes.
Okay. Philippine Professional Organization, Saudi Arabia, present this certificate of appreciation to Kenneth S. Aluntaga, APEC ASEAN Engineer, in grateful recognition of his valuable contribution in sharing his professional expertise as technical speaker. Topic, Rooftop Electricity Solar Home System, held on the 2nd of October 2020 at Al Khobar, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia via Zoom. Signed, 2020 PPO President, PPO-SA, RC V. Fernando, CPA. 2020 PPO Secretary, FDKER, Dr. Shaila E. Rojas, and Professional Development Chairman, Vice EPSA, Engineer Clancy Marquez, Vice President, President of PICPA.
Thank you so much.
Okay, to proceed with the program, may I call our President, IIA President, for the closing remarks. Engineer Belmore C. Villena. Pasok.
Okay. Engineer Ricky, Chris, saglit pala, yung one time lang, yung kanina nagtatanong ng contact, so i-search niya lang sa FB yung Aris SOMPC.
I already dropped your email address here in the chat box.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes. Kailangan natin ng ano. Okay, so yes, everything that has a beginning has an end. So on behalf of the Philippine Professional Organizations, Saudi Arabia, Eastern Region, and of course the Institute of Integrated Electrical Engineers, ERCSA, Eastern Region Chapter, I would like to extend my sincerest thanks to our resources speaker, Engineer Kenneth Aluntaga. Thank you so much, sir, for your invaluable support to the PPO, and of course to the organizer, my team, IIE, ERCSA, and of course to all the participants. Without you, this webinar would not be a success. Actually, we reached a peak, like a parang solar peak lang, ano? We reached a peak of 126 participants, and that's not bad. I hope we have learned something valuable today. And if so, then the essence of this endeavor of the PPO has been met. Actually, this is to benefit the members from the expertise of the member organizations, subject matter experts, especially those that can be used when we go back to our country for good. And please be reminded that please always consult your licensed electrical practitioners when for guidance when doing this, okay, for safety, for your safety, of course, and efficient implementation of the project. We have shared in the chat box the evaluation link. Please, if you have enjoyed this presentation, kindly share your views, and we need also your feedback to further improve our future presentations. And yun, umalis na yung mga iba. So we need your feedback, please. And please fill up also the registration forms for your certificates, which will be sent only to the your registered emails. And if you have any queries, please don't hesitate to drop us an email, no, to your PPO presidents. And of course, I already indicated there the email of Engineer Kenneth Aluntaga. Any queries regarding this topic, please drop this email to ksaluntaga@gmail.com or kaluntaga@yahoo.com. And 2 weeks from now, that will be on October 16, sorry. I'm very much advanced. October 16, the PPO will again be offering another webinar, which will be hosted by the Philippine Association of Medical Technologists, PAMET, and this is entitled Resiliency during COVID-19 pandemic, the journey of the Filipino medical technologists. This will be presented by no other than the PAMET National President. So please join us again next time. And again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This will be the end of this presentation, and we hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Bye-bye.